Hello, one and all. Welcome back to the Rule the Roost Extra Thursday update. Plenty to talk about because the Champions League draw has just been and gone. I don't know if you listened or not. I'm not going to take it personally if you didn't. I tried out one of those Twitter space things. Basically, I spoke to Spooky and Flav for about an hour while the draw was going on. Seemed quite interesting. It's a bit of a weird thing though. You have to do it through your phone. You can't use a desktop, so nobody could use like a nice microphone or anything like that. You're just talking through a phone, which seems a bit weird from Twitter, a bit potato-y. But enough about that. Yeah, you can listen to this on my Twitter @TheTrunk feed. You can listen to it. The call's recorded and everything like that. So if that's of any interest to you, yeah, you can see if we can do some more. But the draw, pretty interesting one for Tottenham. An interesting draw. You would probably say one of the more favourable groups. Frankfurt, Lisbon, Marseille, or Sporting, isn't it? I think you're supposed to say Sporting. I want to square this one off now. Sporting Lisbon, right? I understand, right? Okay, if they would rather be called Sporting Club de Portugal, great. But if you do call them Sporting Lisbon, I'm sorry, it's not racism. It's not hate speech to call them Sporting Lisbon. As I have seen an increasingly, should we say, I don't know. I just think the narrative is turning towards it being something problematic to call them Sporting Lisbon. I just whatever, call them what you know. But we have Sporting. Or maybe I'll call them Sport. No, I'll call them Sporting. There you go. Frankfurt though, Europa League winners. Great, good on them. Stop West Ham from winning Europa League that I was absolutely convinced that they were going to. Were apparently a bit of a German Spurs. I've heard that, not just because they play in white, that they're a club that I think there's an absolutely mad story. I think I heard on their run to the final. It might have been during the final commentary, where they were going to win the league for the first time in 30, 40 years or something like that. All that they needed on the final day of the season was a draw to the bottom placed, already relegated side in the Bundesliga. And they lost. Correct me if I'm wrong, this might not be the correct story, but it just sounded so incredibly Tottenham. Like, the thought of that, just spelling out that scenario, actually sends waves of anxiety through my body. Like, that just... Because you can so imagine Tottenham doing it. How clear... What are the fixtures? Who have we got final day of the season? Tottenham fixtures. Somebody might say I should know this, but I don't know. Maybe okay. Leeds United, final day of the season. Brentford. Oh, it's quite a nice little kind of run to the end. I mean, it's probably a bit nasty. Newcastle away. Man United at home. Liverpool away. We always seem to have Liverpool away around that time of the season. Palace at home. Villa away. Brentford at home. Leeds away. Final game of the season. I mean, Leeds actually look all right under Jesse Marsh in this, but for this nightmare scenario, let's just imagine Leeds are already relegated, which is a possibility. You could see Leeds potentially going down. Tottenham, top of the league, just needing a draw to win. Arsenal in second. No, I'm not adding Arsenal into this. Manchester City in second place. Spurs just need a draw to win the Premier League. And we lose to an already relegated Leeds on the final day of the season. Why am I manifesting this? This happened to Frankfurt, apparently. I might have just completely made this up, but I'm pretty sure I heard that somewhere from some guy. Source, trust me, bro. But the thing, I've thought about Frankfurt when I was watching them in the Europa League. This is what I wanted to get to. I don't think they were that good. I thought the Europa League final was appalling. And I thought... really, West Ham kind of bottled it more than anything against them. I don't buy it. I don't think they're great. I think Spurs should turn them out. I know there's all this clamouring for the Europa League, for the Bundesliga, and They've got Kostic and all this sort of shit, but come on, man. Like, yeah, I know we got turned over by Bayern Munich, but that was a pretty tumultuous time. And we didn't actually get turned over in Munich by them. How many times do we have to do Dortmund down the years now for people to finally kind of recognise that Tottenham competing in the Premier League, finishing fourth in the Premier League, playing against the sort of quality we do week in, week out, a team like Frankfurt we should just be turning over. I'm sorry, they're not a top side. Yes, they won the Europa League. Okay, kudos to them, fair play. But Birmingham City won the League Cup once. Swansea City won the League Cup. I think they didn't they? Wolves got to the final of the Europa League. And they were a good... To be fair, Wolves are a good side. I'm going to get onto that. And Nat Nuno's Wolves side were pretty decent. But there was still a bit of a Martin Jol's Tottenham. So, you know. Thing is, sorry. It might really be horrible for people when I'm doing this. But normally when I'm doing the podcast with somebody else, I can take a cheeky sip of water while they're talking, put myself on mute. But because you're just stuck with me for these ones, I don't get to do that. I haven't got the luxury of doing that, so you get to hear my horrible... And the thing, do you know what? I'm projecting this because I detest that. I absolutely detest sort of lip-smacking noises, the sound of eating, the sound of drinking, chewing, coughing, anything like that. What do you call it? Misnomer? What's it? Not misnomer. What? Misphoma? Something like that. The thing where you just get agitated by sounds. And that's why I found working from home now sublime. I've always found it hard working in the office. Always found it hard working in the office because of the noises. I get so distracted. Like, I find it when I don't know if anybody else has this, but when I'm working, I like to have my music on, or for it to be quiet, or even something weird like white noise sometimes play if I find it really hard to concentrate. And once I start working, I'm great. But if somebody stops me, if somebody would just say, "Oh, Jack, can you," and take my attention away from this for a project that's in the pipeline or anything like that, or even if it's just, "Do you want a cup of coffee?" I find it really hard to get back into work. And then it's alt tabbing and looking at Twitter usually. But yeah, I really struggle with that. So if anybody actually has any tips for dealing with that sort of thing, that would be grand. But where the fuck was I? What was I talking about? Tottenham we're a seasoned European outfit now. We've been to a Champions League final. We are one of the better teams in this competition. Teams like Frankfurt are fearing us. They're looking forward to playing us, playing at our nice big stadium, all that sort of thing. But we shouldn't be afraid of them. Lisbon, Sporting Lisbon, Sporting Club de Portugal, whatever you want to call them. I'm absolutely pumped about that one. I've only ever been to Portugal once in my life, but I've wanted to go more and more as I've gotten older. I've had quite a few mates go over there, absolutely love it, and I usually do a couple of European away days every year. I've done Germany a few times. I've done Dortmund, done Leipzig, did Juventus. What else have I done? I swear I've done others than that. Ajax, but I wasn't in the ground. I was just in Dam Square. So yeah, me and the missus will be absolutely buzzing about going to Lisbon. Be doing that. So if down the line you actually do have any spare tickets, anybody, I'll happily take them off your hands. If not, I will probably still go to the city anyway and enjoy the ambience. It's always good fun to travel away with Tottenham, and I want to go to Lisbon. I'm sure they are a decent side. They've got Marcus Edwards as well now, so it's nice that we've got a former Tottenham player there with a score to settle. I've just seen them linked with Ronaldo actually just before I started recording this, which I guess you can understand that another homecoming for him. He wants Champions League football. I don't really see. I mean, unless Ten Hag really just thinks he's a divisive kind of influence in the dressing room, poisonous, maybe they'll just want him out of there. But I can't see. Can you see Lisbon paying his wages? He must be on a good £300,000-400,000 a week at Manchester United. Maybe they'll split, maybe not. I don't know. Not my concern. The only concern is whether or not Ronaldo ends up playing for Lisbon, because he loves a goal against Tottenham. He loves goals, plural, against Tottenham. So ideally he won't be playing for them, because we will be contending with Marcus Edwards already, who I think doesn't actually start week in, week out for them. He's still kind of coming off the bench. But amazing for the lad, right? You know, I can't even remember what the name of the other Portuguese team that he was playing for, but I think he was tearing it up there. To get moves to Sporting's pretty massive. So it's good to see that he's doing well. Loving life. I mean, it's so random, really, isn't it? Seeing a kind of an English player playing out in Portugal, of all places, really. But it is interesting seeing more and more young English talent go abroad now, because it just was barely ever a thing, was it? I think back in antiquity, you had like Ian Rush, David Platt. Who else we had? I think Jimmy Greaves, actually, didn't he? Jimmy Greaves went out to AC Milan, but I don't think he did very well out there. I think there's a funny old quote from Jimmy Greaves saying he didn't like Milan because he couldn't get ham, egg and chips or something like that. That might be just an urban legend or something like that, but I think that's a thing that's quite a funny one. Marseille, apparently, right. Apparently Marseille, according to stats.football.co.uk/head-to-head, Tottenham Hotspur have never played Marseille in a competitive fixture. Our head-to-head is 0%, nothing. I said 0% because I was looking at a percent mark on there, but it was talking about Tottenham's win percentage. So, you know, it's just my head, my brain seeing things and me saying it out loud. But, you know, it's quite difficult doing this Salaman thing. But I'm just, you know, well, it's not like it's of any high qualities. I'm not fishing for compliments here. I'm just waffling. But it helps keep my mind switched on, you know. Focus on other stuff that I'm doing. So it's quite good. I quite enjoy it. And if you like it, you know, people seem to be listening. So glad you're enjoying it. If you are, well, it doesn't, just because you listen doesn't mean you're enjoying it, does it? There's plenty of things I listen to that I don't particularly enjoy. Most of the Beatles, you know, just put it on because that's what you do, isn't it? But, you know, I'm not that big on them. But yeah, first ever competitive game against them. I did a tweet. Let me see if anyone's replied. Marseille, because I have a feeling that Marseille are quite aggro. Because I really would quite like to go to Marseille, but I have a feeling that they're quite aggro and nasty, like stabby aggro, horrible. So, well, yeah. So somebody said that it seems to be some mixed reviews about as to whether or not Marseille are that nasty. I think it was Lyon that we had over, and Lyon that kind of like smashed up a load of, you know, Spurs fans and colours when we went over there, which is just kind of just lowest of the low, isn't it? I think if the aggro lads want to go at it with each other, whatever, you know, let them sort of do what, well, within reason, go at each other. But if you're just doing it for people that are just there to enjoy football matches, you know, people with kids, or it don't even have to have kids with them, people just there to enjoy a day, like, come on. You can't be doing that. But you know, Marseille, lovely, south of France, might be quite nice, but I don't know if it's a bit dodgy. Somebody said in reply to that actually that Frankfurt are really tasty, which is quite interesting. I know there was I think when they came over to play West Ham, I'd seen sort of videos of West Ham and whatever Frankfurt lot sort of kicking off with each other, but I generally tend to sort of blame West Ham for that, so maybe that's just my Spurs bias there. Rivalry aside, maybe Frankfurt are nasty as well. But look, all in all, this is a group Tottenham Hotspur should be winning. I know there's a lot of talk as to whether or not, you know, are any of these showpiece fixtures. I mean, I'd say all three of them are decent games, right? All three of them are good. Yeah, okay, then it's not European heritage, but we've experienced that over the past few years. You know, we've played Barca, we've played Real, AC Milan, Inter Milan, some of the big boys. So Juventus, don't forget Juventus. I'm sure let's play Bayern. There you go. There's another that we've played. Manchester City, wow, European pedigree there. So we've played these big games, and you want to get to the business end, right? I don't celebrate, but I'm not disappointed that we haven't gotten a big team. The way I treat the Champions League is I don't think anybody really, maybe Real Madrid or somebody, and that's just why they win it all the time, but you don't go into the Champions League thinking we're definitely going to, what's our plan to win the Champions League, really? I think maybe City need to do that, but they're sort of in their own heads about it now, aren't they? PSG, the similar. Champions League is just a big carnival of football, isn't it? Like you sort of turn up and you just have to enjoy the ride. You have to enjoy seeing the big ball in the halfway line, the big flag ball thing, the music playing, the evening kickoffs, just seeing some of the best players in the world against your kind of team. It's unbelievable. Games that, I always bang on about this. Always bang on about it. But, once upon a time, never dreaming of Tottenham kind of doing anything other than maybe scraping into the UEFA Cup once in a while. But the thought of us playing in the Champions League, all those sort of the huge kind of games that I used to watch as a kid, seeing Manchester United against Bayern Munich in that final, Solskjaer has won it, all that type of stuff, Zidane's volley against Leverkusen, knowing that Tottenham are in games like this now, it's just everything. And it's not, the thing is, right, the Premier League's only getting harder. We're seeing this, and it is that kind of well-made point now by pretty much every podcast, every media outlet. The Premier League, there aren't really any easy games in it now. Every team has bought so well, and there's just so much money being spent. It's such a kind of, it's potluck whether or not you're going to finish in the top four, to a degree, to a certain degree. Especially when you're kind of at our level, if you think about it, if you think we're fighting for third or fourth place with Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, Newcastle, really, let's be honest, maybe not quite this season, but it ain't going to be long. It isn't going to be long at all. Newcastle are spending and spending and spending. It's just like early Manchester City, People sort of question their business. Well, they're not buying the big name. They're not buying Haaland. They're not buying... But it doesn't matter. They're still spending so much money, and they're going to continue to do that. They're not going to have any seasons where they balance the books, like the likes of even Liverpool do, like the likes of Tottenham have to do. Chelsea were supposed to be doing that, but they've seemingly given up on that. So, Newcastle are going to be every single window spending 100 mil, right? We just need to get used to that. They're a proper team, right? How much longer, how many more times, how consistently we're going to see Tottenham in the Champions League is completely up for debate. So just cherish every single moment of it, every single second of it. It's, as Pochettino called it, it's a magical competition. It's the greatest football ever. There is just something so special about it. Like I say, when you hear that music and you see the opening montage and you think, fucking Tottenham Hotspur are here. We got to a final, we got to the final of it. And I've said it on the podcast before. One thing about this club is, one thing I fucking love about this club, and we should never forget is, we might not have the history of Liverpool, right? We might not have the history of Real Madrid, but we are still a club with European pedigree. We are. The club lives and breathes European football. Weeknights under the lights at White Hart Lane. It's what it's all about. It's making me almost well up a bit thinking about it. But to me, it's the purest Tottenham experience. It's everything that you could just want from your club. And great, don't get me wrong. I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it if Tottenham grind out the Premier League. If we win it, it's unbelievable. It's an experience that will stay with us all till the day that we die, seeing Tottenham lift the Premier League. But to me, anyway, there's another level of just, and it is that twee kind of shit that people talk about in football, but there's just a certain magic to European competition and winning the Champions League, seeing them kind of hold that up would be something else. We were so close to it. But to sort of my original point is that, you know, we just got to enjoy it, even if we don't win it. It's unbelievable. I don't subscribe to the thing that we can't be absolutely buzzing about Ajax still when we didn't win it in the end. It doesn't matter. It was the most unbelievable night of, I would say, 99% of Tottenham supporters' lives. And there's more of that to come. You know, maybe not as huge as the Ajax game was, but who knows? You know, you would have said that was unlikely before it happened. And sorry, maybe some people like that. Some people like that ASMR shit. I don't know. I'm not going to do an OnlyFans or anything about it, so don't worry. But you know, let's just enjoy it. Let's enjoy Tottenham in the Champions League. Let's get through the group stages, because I think we should do this. I think we should get through these. It's difficult games, I reckon. They are going to be difficult, but other than Frankfurt, fuck Frankfurt. But there should be enough there. I have confidence in the belief that Conte is instilling into this club and into these players. And if it means we win ugly, we win ugly. Doesn't matter. Let's get on to the Wolves game. Talking about winning ugly. There does seem to be a real split on this. A lot of people really aren't that happy about it. I'm still, you know, I like to do this because I like to kind of reflect over the course of the week, taking other people's opinions as well, see if it challenges my own, question my own thinking, all that type of stuff. And I'm still happy with the way the Wolves game went, you know. Other years we've seen us we came under that pressure in the first half. We've seen us lose that game. We've seen exactly that game. I think the year before Wolves went 2-0 up in about half hour, did they? I think, and just held on to it. Not today, Satan. You know, it's a different Tottenham. We can keep throwing back to this 7 points up on last season, and it is relevant because it is a clear and tangible mark of progress. I was listening to Cosmo, who was a guest on the last podcast. His podcast, the N17 podcast. Give it a listen. Brilliant podcast if you haven't done yet. The lads on there were talking about how everybody's kind of hyping up Arsenal at the moment, but they are 2 points up on where they were last season. So they've pretty much done exactly what they did last year. But they're 2 points up. One of those draws has been turned into a win, whereas that is 7 points from 0 for Tottenham. It's a clear sign of progress. Not every single game you turn up and just smash the opposition. I've said it before, Liverpool, you know, we saw the biggest change in them when they went from a team that were swashbuckling and going into every single game kind of laissez-faire. That's not the correct terminology, is it? I'm just going a bit Del Boy there. But they were going into each game with, you know, I don't know. They weren't taking it as seriously. Not seriously. Get your fucking words out. What am I trying to say? They went into a game playing with verve. They were playing exciting football, you know, and they grind out wins now, or at least they have done for the past couple of years. They've just gotten a bit boring. And maybe that's just what you need to do to win games. One thing I wanted to say in the back of this, Danny Murphy saying Bentancur was our man in the match, which it really solidified to me that Danny Murphy obviously didn't watch our game. I'm a big fan of Bentancur. I've said before, I think he has a kind of a calming presence to our team. He helps dictate the tempo. I don't think he's quite metronomic, but I guess saying he dictates the tempo would indicate that he is metronomic. But, you know, for the instance of me not mugging myself off, I'm going to say they're slightly different. They're not different at all, Jack, are they? But I don't think he had the best game. And I do wonder, you know, one of my thoughts at the back of this is, are other teams just now, they know how to play against Conte? Are they going to target those two in the middle? And as much as it is fun to kind of dig out Højbjerg, and it is kind of I don't know, I don't think it's a fashionable thing to do. I think it's really split down the middle. And I think it was Spooky that said it on the Fighting Cock that, you know, I don't think Højbjerg is as good as people who like him make out, but he's probably not as bad as the people that really don't like him make out either. I just think I sort of stand by what I said from pretty early on, is that I just think he's a good but very limited player. But he plays with a lot of heart. He plays with a lot of passion. P-A-S-H-U-N. And I thought he was really good against Wolves. And he was actually, you know what, he was pinging quite a few decent passes about, I thought. So, you've got to give him credit where it's due. But I would, whether it's Bentancur that drops out or Højbjerg, I couldn't really say at this point. And I think it maybe depends upon the game, because we talk about this, don't we, as well, like who drops out, who comes in. It's a squad game, isn't it? And again, this is trite, but we need to hammer this into our heads. It's not just starting 11. You have a squad of players. You have a complete squad of players, and you can kind of rotate between them. I would like to see Basuma given a bit of game time now. Not really sure why Conte's kind of taking his time with him. Maybe he's not impressing as much in training. Maybe his fitness isn't quite there. Maybe he's not quite as kind of on kind of exact kind of time with what Conte wants from his team. But it's almost, it's got to be soon that he comes into this team, right? It's got to be soon. Let's hope so, because I do think he's an absolutely quality footballer. Let's talk about Arsenal. I mean, I said that thing about them, 2 points. I do, I saw them getting linked with Neto, and it's another decent option for them. But again, it all feels a bit kind of like they're just buying these kind of mid-range, decent players, which maybe that is good. Maybe it's, the kind of the total kind of sum total of their team is going to be better that way. Is going to be better having players that all kind of fulfill a very certain, specific purpose in what it is that Arteta wants them to do. Maybe they don't need superstars. Maybe they've been burnt by Pepe. I'm not really sure, though, that Neto is going to take them on to another level, but it is more squad. It is more squad depth for them. And I think that's the biggest thing going against them at the moment, because Gabriel Jesus, you can't deny it, has gone there and is doing a sort of barnstorming job at the moment. But is he going to maintain that level for an entire season? And if he drops out, who comes in? Eddie Nketiah, decent player, but, I just think, Arsenal at the moment, they're getting overexcited. They're a good team. They're definitely improved on what they were, but this idea that, you saw Salah the other day say that Arsenal were the team that he was scared of. He obviously didn't include Spurs in that. He's got a weird thing with Spurs, a weird thing with Harry Kane. I think there's a weird thing with Salah and there, but competitive thing. I think he's a bit rattled by us. But I just sort of feel it, when I see the wider sort of footballing community, other people, I see quite a few Man United fans at the moment talk about Arsenal being really good. Credit to Arsenal. Yeah, they've done quite well. And I wonder if, again, that's a kind of a bit of a thing of Manchester United will maybe even find it easier to see like Arsenal, a team that's been there and done it. Oh, well, Arsenal, it's our role. Maybe it makes them feel a bit better, thinking like, it's like the old days when it was us against Arsenal for the title, Wenger, Fergie years. But they don't seem to rate us. Nobody seems to. And I just think a lot of teams are kind of, they're I can't tell if they are just trying to sort of down players because they really don't want to contemplate a world in which Tottenham Hotspur are actually a good side again. Like, maybe that's it. Maybe that's what they don't want, and they can't bear the thought of that. Like a lot of us all felt before Liverpool won the Premier League again. It's unbearable, the thought of Liverpool doing it. You can imagine that there probably is a lot of similar feelings towards Tottenham. I know I'm totally unbearable if Tottenham win the Premier League or win something significant. We due it. We absolutely are. And just to give some back to everybody else. But so maybe nobody wants to rate us on that side of things. But I do just think everybody's getting a bit overexcited by Arsenal. It's a team that's finished 8th, 5th. I know Arteta has won them an FA Cup, but whatever. We don't need to go into that one again. I just think we're a better side. I do think we're a better side at the moment. I think we're a better side than Chelsea. From evidence so far this season, I think we're a better side than Liverpool. They are missing quite a few of their first team, but isn't that all part of the problem? Do we make excuses for that because they haven't got adequate depth to come in and cover for those first team players that are missing? I know that it will mean that maybe later on in the season they'll be better again, but still, why do we make excuses for this? If Spurs in the past have been missing Harry Kane, nobody's been shedding tears for us, have they? They've been saying, well, that's Tottenham's fault for having no backup for Harry Kane. I'm not that arsed. I'm not that arsed about Arsenal. I think Tottenham are still maintain. I still hold dear the fact that I don't know. I'm holding on to the feeling that Tottenham we're a proper team this year and we're going for something big. Speaking of a faded force, we do have Nottingham Forest this weekend. Couldn't really tell you much about them. I watched their game against... Was it Everton? Was that the lunchtime kickoff the other day? I think it was. I thought they were awful. I thought they looked really crap. Such a boring game. Didn't think anything of them, to be honest. I know that their managers... I don't want to do him a disservice, but I can't remember his name. Steve Cooper, Steve Clark or something. I can't remember his name. I don't care. They're a team with heritage. I want to, I'll tell you, my second ever game at White Hart Lane was seeing us lose 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. And all the Forest fans sung on repeat for literally about kind of 3 to 5 minutes. Much like we used to do in Martin Yarl's Blue Army, they were just singing, Tottenham, we always beat Tottenham, we always beat Tottenham, we always beat Tottenham, Tottenham, we always beat Tottenham, so that was kind of a shitty experience. I think was it Pierre Van Hooijdonk that scored for them? I don't know, I can't remember. But yeah, they beat us, but I don't think they're going to beat us this time. I think we're going to go up there, do the business. On Richarlison and Sonny, I still think keep Sonny in there. I know people talk about, I was talking earlier about it's not somebody dropping out, somebody praising. I think the optics and that, I think the feeling that will create for Sonny is not good. I don't want to drop him after he's had a couple of slow games because it would feel like a dropping. It wouldn't feel like exercising a squad rotation. It wouldn't feel like mixing it up a bit. It would feel like Sonny was being dropped. And I think we owe him. I think we owe Sonny a bit of kind of just patience and a bit of time because we're still getting results. And this is maybe the sort of game where Sonny can turn up and just kind of, fill his boots a bit. Because, it's Sonny. It's Sonny at the end of the day. Think about all the times he's kind of gotten us out of a tight spot. You got to stick by the lad. But other than that, yeah, I don't really know what more I can tell you. One thing I did like about Nottingham Forest that I think about when I remember them is Ryan Mason scored that thunder bastard against them. So, maybe it's a fixture that means something to him. He'll be on the bench, won't he? So he can draw it across the line. I want to say that was his first his senior goal for Tottenham, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I've made that up. But that's pretty much all I've got to say about Nottingham Forest, and that's pretty much all I've got to say this evening. So yeah, if you do like it, please, again, share, leave a review, leave a rating on your chosen podcast platform. It all helps. I've also set up one of those. I'm not putting anything behind a paywall. I'm not doing any paywall stuff, but I have set up one of those buy me a coffee type websites, which will be helpful because, just saying, I do enjoy this. This is a hobby, but at the same time, I do like to kind of do it to a certain professional standard, at least, technically speaking. So, bought a microphone, bought sound recording equipment. Be good just to have any money that you can spare, you can kind of chuck my way, that I will put towards more things like making the recording software that I use a professional edition, which means I can do more ambitious stuff, have better quality audio. I can put more money towards match tickets, which isn't really your problem anyway, but I'm just saying that's where all the money will go, and I can do more of those, like with the Wolves game. the post-match stuff. But anyway, no pressure. It's fucking horrible times out there for everybody financially at the moment. So if you can spare anything, great. There's a link in the bio on Twitter. I'm not going to push it too hard, but anything you can spare, much appreciated. Much love, everybody. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.